What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about how I view relationships and how I approach relationships, right? So this is how I approach romantic relationships when it comes to like obviously male and female and stuff like that. So when it comes to romantic relationships, how I view the situation is this, right? So if I've been attracted, if I'm attracted to a female, right, and if I'm into her, and if we were to interact, right, if she doesn't share the same love language as me, meaning if she's not like as open, if she's closed off, and if she's not as like communicative, like if she's not communicating, or if she's not showing me her interest, then how I look at it is like, why would I even entertain her, or like why would I even put my energy into her, right? So all my life, like I've noticed about not all females, but what females have a tendency to do is that like they expect like guys to do all the work for them, and I feel like, is my opinion, females do a poor job of communicating their needs to men. This is why there's a lot of miscommunication, a lot of like breakups and fights, because women do a poor job of communicating their needs to men. Now I understand, and this is where you get your perspectives from. So men, they communicate differently compared to women, you know. So like with women, they're more emotional, and like, so there's why they kind of expect men to understand what they're coming from without them expressing themselves. But with men, they expect women to express themselves, because men are more logical and women, they're more emotional. So you see where I'm getting at. So this is why there's so much breakups and divorces within a male and female relationship. This is why, because they both don't understand each other. So my best advice, obviously I'm still young and I've never been married or in a serious relationship like that, but it is best to know how the opposite gender operates. But I also feel like both genders need to take accountability, and they need to grow up on how they're able to fulfill both of their needs, right? But there are times where within my life is like, at this point I'm okay with being single. If someone's not for me and they're showing me they're not for me, then why the fuck would I entertain them? Because there are times where like I'll be physically attracted to a female, right? But whenever I'll interact with them, they either seem so closed off, or they're not very open. So why would I even put my energy onto them if they're not expressing their interests and how they do things the way how I do things and how I express my interests? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I chase and put all my energy into a fucking female when she's not willing to do the same thing? Why the fuck would I do that? You know what I'm saying? And there's a spiritual perspective from it. So how I look at it is this: if God is like, how I look at it is this: if I feel like at times God expects me to experience like being in situations where like I don't feel loved, because in this reality, in this realm, I feel like, again, I could be wrong, you don't have to agree with what I agree, but within this reality, it's like God or the universe or your spirit or the nature of this human experience is to make human beings go through a lot of suffering and torture. This is why a lot of human beings go through trauma and traumatic experiences. This is why within tarot readers, observe tarot readers. Why is that like all they talk about is trauma, healing, and overcoming obstacles, right? And they always, all their reading is based on healing and giving people false hope. Because based on this human experience, it is my opinion, based on my observations, this human experience, like, human beings are meant to go through trauma, obstacles, hardships, and bullshit. The only reason why they go through that shit is because and so they can keep being engaged within this human experience. This is why when people say, and shout out to Mooney Mercury Baby and Chauncey One, they always say shit like they always say things like hang on, I'm trying to think of a word, they always mention like there's always suffering and there's always some bullshit going on, because this human experience, like, view Earth as a school, and people mention this, Earth is like a school, right? This is why every human being is fucking traumatized and they go through hardships. I mean, look what's allowed within the society. Look what's allowed within this world. There's a lot of world corruption. There's a lot of money restrictions. You see what I'm getting at? So just the fact that shit like this is even allowed, then that tells you that like we're meant to experience a lot of obstacles and bullshit. may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing. Who knows? What I do know is that like you can't experience situations where like it's working in your favor. It could work in your favor depending if you have less karma, less blockages. But for the average human being, they have to go through obstacles and bullshit and trial and error. And I could be wrong, but like I'll observe other people's lives and I'll observe my life as well. And I've noticed a pattern. There's always a pattern where like we always have to experience some type of obstacle, some type of bullshit within this society, within this world, right? Why is it there's a lot of divorces and breakups going on? Why is that like every fucking romantic relationship there's always fucking conflict? Why is it in this society it's always conflict within money restrictions? That shows you that this human experience, there's always fucking conflict going on. Now imagine in a world where like there's no fucking conflict, and I feel like human beings will get bored, or like they'll see this realm for how it is. This is why God or the universe or spirit or the nature of this human experience or the government and power, they're able to put a lot of obstacles and bullshit within the human experience so they can keep people focused and waste their energy on shit that doesn't really matter. Most of the problems that's going on in this world is because of money and it's because of lack of knowledge. People lack a lot of spiritual knowledge. If we have access to spiritual knowledge, we wouldn't be having so much problems. But not only spiritual knowledge, but because of the money system. It's the system in general. I understand money is part of the system, but if money wasn't as restricted or as corrupt, there'll be less fucking problems, because a lot of people are forced to work in jobs they don't want to be in because of money. And with the money, it controls people's relationships. You can't take a woman out on a date or to go here and there without money. Most divorces happen because of money. Most dysfunctional families happen because of money, and that deals with generational curses. You know what I'm saying? So this is why like the older I'm getting, it's like I can see life for the way it is, and I can see through the bullshit of it. So whenever, like, for example, like I'll go through certain petty situations to like easily affect me in the past, but now it doesn't, because I see the situation for how it is. People may call it self-love, people may call it maybe I'm doing the shadow work, who the fuck knows? But what I do know is that like I can see through the bullshit of things the older I'm getting. So for example, if I'm into a female, right, if I'm attracted to her, if I really want to be with her, right, but if she's not showing me that like we're compatible, or like she's doing some bullshit where she's playing on mind games, or she's not as affectionate, then why the fuck would I entertain my energy towards her? Because I'm just gonna waste time, and I'm just getting my heart broken, and she's gonna waste my fucking time. So I'll draw my energy away from her. Yes, I'll still feel sad because I was attached to her, because I'm attracted to her, but for the most part, I care more about myself than for me to fucking prove my self-worth to her. Because why the fuck, who the fuck am I to prove my self-worth to that female that's refusing to give back what I'm putting into her? You know what I'm saying? The equal give and take. If there's no equal give and take, then why should I entertain myself towards that specific female? That shit makes no fucking sense. Most romantic relationships are based on learning lessons and trauma. This is why a lot of people go through a lot of suffering within relationships. Within the human experience, you're going to go through suffering regardless. Maybe it's how God or the universe orchestrated. Who the fuck knows? But what I do know is that, like, without a doubt, we all got to go through some type of suffering, some type of pain in order for us to learn lessons. You know what I'm saying? So like, why not do the shadow work, know more about yourself, so when bullshit situations like that happens, you don't have to trip about it as much. Also, I'm gonna say something. There's something I was gonna say, but like it kind of erased my mind. So when it comes to like, hang on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to regather my thoughts. So within this human experience, why is it that like there's a lot of restrictions, corruption, and evil shit that takes place? But the human mind is extremely powerful. You have the power to change your circumstances. The reason why people are stuck in these situations is because of karma. It's because of programming. There's a lot of programming within the society. A lot of people aren't able to act their true selves because of trauma. Because this world, it puts you in a box to the point where like you have to act a certain way, or you have to be a certain way. This is where you get your stereotypes from. It gets deep. Chauncey Simon talks about this. He goes into detail about this. This is where you get your programming from. And shout out to Chauncey Simon. So like, if you live in a world where like there's a lot of programming and a lot of like stereotypical shit, it's gonna be hard for people to be unique. because then you got social media, and you got all this other shit, so it's easy to be programmed. And not only that, but like, not too many people are unique. Not too many people are on a spiritual path. This is why it's so hard to come across people who are fucking spiritual, right? Instead, there's a lot of people who are the same. A lot of people are average. And it's so easy to be average. It's so easy to be a follower. One, because people don't know any better. But two, is because how the society, how this world is set up. It's so evil and corrupted that people don't have the answers on how to get through that shit. This is why when you come across spiritual information, like New Mindframe, like Moody Mercury Baby, Chauncey One, and other spiritual channels like Young Pharaoh, and all this other shit, if you come across these videos, you can have a basic understanding of why the world is the way it is and why it's so corrupt. Not many people have access to that information because they don't know any better. So their main objective is to be a follower, to go along with the crowd. This is why a lot of people do the same shit. This is why it's hard to come across people who are unique, because it's so easy to be like, as human beings, we are social creatures. We're called social creatures for a reason. This is why when you see one person doing one thing, a lot of people want to do the same thing. This is where you get your sheep. This is where you get your followers from. There's nothing wrong with that. They just don't know any better. But how I view the situation is that, like, there's a lot of programming and control. Maybe God or the universe or your higher self or just the laws of the universe or laws of the human experience is designed to be like that, where like you're not meant to necessarily change it, but more so to experience this shit and to learn lessons and to get the fuck out of here. Shout out to Moody Mercury Baby. He actually talked about like this human experience. Like, it's so hard for people to change. It's so hard to, you know, to make this world a better place because people are so stuck in their ego. So he even mentioned that, like, as human beings, maybe we're meant to experience certain lessons and to get the fuck out, not to be as attached. He could be right, you know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is that, like, it's always important to know more about yourself. It's always important to do the healing work, because I feel like within, at least for my life, God or the universe or my higher self, they'll put me in a lot of situations to where, like, it'll force me to be on the healing journey. Meaning, the universe. So, for example, I came from a very dysfunctional family, and I never been around like-minded people. Now, the universe, I feel like the universe or God or my spirit will purposely put me through these bullshit situations just so I could be, one, engaged within this realm. Because in order for you to be engaged within this realm, you got to be tied into bullshit, right? So if I weren't, like, for example, I was purposely put into traumatic situations where I'm not around like-minded people. I crave deep bond relationships and love. So it makes sense that I'm not born into a loving family. I'm not around like-minded people. That creates a lot of trauma and pain within me. Because even my zodiac placements, it craves love. I have a lot of Scorpio and the Libra Venus, right? So the reason why the universe or spirit will put me into these situations so I can get off my comfort zone, so I can love myself. But not only that, but the main reason why is so I could be engaged within this realm. Because if I want ever to experience all this shit, I want to be as much engaged, because I can already see through the bullshit. This is why I mentioned in my old videos, spirit will put you through stupid ass situations and blockages and obstacles just so you can be engaged within this realm, because this realm ain't shit. He talked about this shit as well. You know what I'm saying? So I can see through the bullshit of my life and understand the assignments and the tasks I need to get done in order for me to do what I gotta do. So this is where you get your generational curses from. This is why certain people are meant to break generational curses. So they're purposely put into traumatic and abusive, painful situations, you know what I'm saying, in order for people to evolve and grow. This is why this human experience ain't shit. It has nothing to offer. This is why there's a lot of traumatic situations. A lot of people go through a lot of trauma because this realm ain't shit. This is why a lot of people go through the shit that they do, because spirit or God wants to keep people engaged within this fucking realm. Maybe it's a timeline we're in. Maybe in this timeline, because like I said in my past videos, we're in purgatory. That's why within purgatory, you're either in your spiritual path or you're not. That's why time is speeding up. The days are going by a lot faster because we're in purgatory. So it makes sense that, like, since we're in purgatory, a lot of people are meant to go through traumatic situations so they could get out of their situation, so they can reprogram themselves, and so they can spread information and create a new generation of people who are more evolved, and the cycle continues, right? You know what I'm saying? This is why at times I feel like I was born into a wrong timeline, because I feel like I could be doing a lot of better shit and other spirits and souls can relate to this as well. Where like they feel like they're born into a wrong timeline because all of this is fucking useless. But I will go more into detail. But I'm tired and I kind of I'm kind of drunk too. But I'm getting a lot of spiritual downloads. But I'm probably gonna make a part 2 to this. But like, comment, subscribe, and have it going. I'm speaking my mind, but have it going. Peace.